Hi, and welcome to this episode of Health by M, the podcast with me, Mathilde. And I hope that you are well and having a good week and day so far. I am recording this a little bit too late, so I had to drink a whole big bowl of matcha, so I won't fall asleep. No, I don't think so, but it's been a long day, and that's actually a great tip. I love to drink matcha and then also add a few drops of essential oil peppermint in it, and I think that really helps when I'm feeling tired and need some quick energy. Although matcha, it doesn't really give you that quick and short energy boost, but it rather keeps it at the same level over a longer period of time if you compare to, for example, coffee. But I do feel like I feel something, at least when I've had a cup or so. So I hope that will help. And I've also had a bit of a weird week, to be honest. I don't know about you, but sometimes I just feel like I get so annoyed by people and I want to move to an isolated island in the middle of nowhere so I don't have to talk to anyone. I can just be by myself and mind my own business. And I don't know, in the beginning, like at the start of this week, there were some encounters that I had that just drained so much energy. And I'm just like, oh my God, people are so weird and crazy and stupid. But then, thankfully enough, these past 2 days have been the opposite. And yesterday, I met some really lovely people that used to go to my Pilates classes here in Stockholm. I just taught one class because I was a substitute teacher at the studio Remedy where I used to work at. And then they were just so sweet. It was so fun to see them again. And they told me such amazing things about my classes and the retreat. And it just made my whole week. And then today I also had a really energizing and uplifting meeting with some people that I work with. And I just felt like, oh my God, I love people. So I think it's really interesting to see how people really can drain energy from you and also can uplift you and actually give you a lot of energy. So that's something I've been reflecting on this past week. And something that I just want to talk about today, it's a little bit of a life update and something around change and how to create change and why I believe real change is made when you do the conscious work and the unconscious work. And I'm going to explain more about that soon. So just to give you some background story, I did a hypnosis around money earlier this summer, which changed a lot for me actually. And doing that unconscious work, it led me to a lot of conscious action steps that I've now made in order to create the change that feels so right for me. And that is something that is actually really interesting and fascinating with hypnosis and working with our unconscious, that it helps us to make conscious changes in our life. And like I said, I believe that real change can only be made by doing both unconscious and conscious work. And what I mean is that we have to both change our beliefs in our unconscious, but also take conscious action steps. And why change can feel very hard sometimes is that we often try to create change through only working with our conscious mind, hence trying to do new things. But only 5% of everything that we do on a daily basis comes from our conscious mind. The rest is from our unconscious, where our beliefs, feelings, automatic responses, thought patterns, and so on reside. So changing the unconscious is actually step one. And then very often that automatically leads to changes in our conscious mind and life in general, such as we start to do and act differently. But we can also help that process a little bit. And for example, if a client comes to me for a hypnosis session and wants to, let's say, quit drinking coffee and start drinking more tea instead, just as an example, we do the hypnosis and then the desired result will be that the client wouldn't crave coffee anymore, not even if they had a fresh cup of coffee in front of them. But then, in order to help establish this new habit of drinking tea and really kind of boost the result that we want, I would always suggest to take conscious action steps as well in order to make it easier. So for example, in this case, I would suggest this client to buy some new teas or book a tea tasting with some friends or whatever, but just taking some conscious action steps like that as well, and you will notice the change happening even quicker. So the same goes if you're changing any other habits. Take conscious action steps after working with the unconscious through hypnosis, and then you will create real change. So anyway, when I did this hypnosis this summer, something really changed around how I feel about money, the respect I have for myself and my life, and how I want to feel in general in life around stress. And what I realized was that the way I've been living my life has made me really stressed, and I haven't felt as abundant and free as I want to. And I realized that my apartment, which I've loved so much and that has been such a wonderful home during these past 2.5 years, is actually a bit too expensive for me right now. And it has made me stressed. And since I hadn't changed my belief around this, since I had other beliefs around stress and money before, prior doing this hypnosis, I was so used to this stress that I didn't really think about it. And I have previously valued putting a lot of money and a big part of my monthly income towards rent and accommodation expenses. But I felt that changed after the hypnosis. It didn't happen overnight, of course, but I actually felt something changing right after. And then it grew over a few weeks, and I just felt that it wasn't aligned anymore with how I wanted to feel. Having this apartment and still living like this, paying this much money, even though I understand that the apartment is definitely worth the money, it's actually a good price for it, considering how I want to feel in my life in general, and especially around money. It didn't align anymore with my life and my lifestyle. And I want to feel calm, abundant, and free. And even though the thought of moving felt a bit weird and foreign in one way, when I started to reflect on this, I also started to feel that it was actually the best thing for me to do. And it would really help me to feel the way I want to feel. And that is something really important to just mention when talking about manifestation, reaching goals, and just in general about living the life we want to live, that we should always let the feelings guide us. Because the things and experiences we wish for, they're just tools for us to feel certain things we want to feel, whether that be love, freedom, peace, happiness, and so on. So now when I had established this new belief around how I want to feel in life, and especially around money, the conscious action steps like moving from a home that I really liked or selling all my favorite furniture and so on didn't feel wrong, because I started to understand that those actions would align me with this new belief and the feelings that I actually wanted to feel. So right now I'm in the middle of moving out of my apartment and selling as much as possible of the things that I own. My clothes, furniture, and yeah, pretty much everything. My goal is to move out of this space with as little as possible. And yes, while there have been a few instances this summer where I've been like, what am I doing? I also feel that it's so right. Even though I don't really have a set plan for the future, it feels like the right thing to do. And I will stay with family and also visit some friends this fall and winter, but I will mostly travel as well. And then my plan is to settle down somewhere like next spring or so. But again, you never know what happens. So we will see. But yeah, this summer I just realized also that I want to live on Sweden's west coast where I grew up and where I have the majority of my friends and also a lot of family left. And I just love this area and can see now when I'm an adult how amazing my childhood there was. And when I was back this summer, I just felt like, oh my God, this is paradise. It is so beautiful, so idyllic. I really want my future family to live like that. And I just realized that I missed my hometown so much during the past few years. And I've also decided that a dream would be to live there, but also somewhere else outside of Sweden in the future, preferably in the US or somewhere else where the climate is nice and warm. And it just made me think, and I realized that this is what I really want. And staying any longer in this apartment here in Stockholm, it won't take me closer to those dreams. So a change is also needed because of that. And also, my grandmother passed away this summer, and my mom got really sick as well. She's better now, though, thank God. But it's been a very tough spring and summer for me because of that. And it made me realize that life happens now, and we can't wait to fulfill our dreams. We don't know how much time we have left, and we also don't know how much time the people around us have left. So I wouldn't say I feel stressed, but I do feel that these tough experiences made me realize more than ever that I'm so ready to live the life I want to live now. I don't want to wait. And big events like this, often these emotional and quite tough events, can actually also help us change our unconscious. And I also refer to them as these slow motion events, like where it's like you're dreaming and everything just feels surreal, and it's like everything is just going in slow motion. And even though these situations are tough, we can also take advantage of them and turn them into something good if we tap into ourselves, connect with ourselves, and start to reflect on a deeper meaning they can have for us, what we can learn from them, and so on. I just wanted to quickly interrupt this episode and remind anyone who's interested in learning more about holistic health that the next course start for the Institute of Integrated Nutrition, IIN's program, is on September 18th. And if you use my name, Mathilde Vergeland, as your referral when you enroll, you get an amazing friends and family discount. And IN has meant so much for me, and it was dedication that helped me start Health by M. The program taught me so many useful things, both when it comes to taking care of my own health, but also professionally. And I would even say that this dedication is essential if you want to build a career within health and wellness. So many of the biggest names you see in the industry, they have taken this course, and it really is the best foundation to whatever it is that you want to do within wellness, whether you want to host retreats, write books, start a health conscious web shop, and so on. So it's an amazing, amazing program, and I am so happy to be able to offer this unique discount. So don't forget to sign up to IN if you're interested. I'm actually so jealous of all of you who hasn't taken this program yet. I would love to do it again. And I feel like especially this time of the year when it's this back to work and back to school mode, I always feel so inspired to go back to studies. And you find a link to a free sample class and some more info, as well as the spelling of my name, here in this episode's show notes. And I'm also a proud brand ambassador for Intelligent Change. And speaking of this episode's topic, I just have to mention this incredible brand as well. You have probably heard of their famous 5-minute journals already, which I absolutely love to use. I've been using it for years, and I think it is such a great journal for consistency and for making journaling an easy and fun practice. They also have other amazing products like planners and notebooks, which are perfect if you're going back to school, work, or going through a big life change like I am at the moment. And if you want to get something from Intelligent Change yourself, you can use the code HEALTHBYM to get 10% off. And you find a link to the website here in the show notes. And if you use these codes that I mentioned, you will also be able to help support the podcast and Health by M as I earn commission from them. All right, now back to the episode. So that is just a little quick life update and also a reminder when it comes to creating change. It needs to be through both unconscious work, which we start with, and then we do the conscious. In my case, I did this unconscious work through this money hypnosis this summer. And the conscious work I've done is to actually move out of my apartment and sell pretty much all of my stuff. If you had told me this 2 or even 1 year ago, I would not have believed it. I have loved this apartment so much and I manifested it in such a crazy way back in 2021. And it really has a special place in my heart. But I do think it's good to change environment a little and to be reminded of that an apartment or house, it's just a shell. A home is something we create inside of it. And things are just things. It's good not to be too attached with the things that we own. I mean, of course, there are things that I won't sell and get rid of because I really want to keep them. But as I've been going through my basement, my wardrobe, and so on, I realized that we own so much stuff, so much more than we actually think. And it feels so good to get rid of, the things that you don't use, the things that you've forgotten about. So I can really recommend that as well. And I think this time of the year is also a good time for that, to start fresh and create some change and do something new. So I will keep you updated later on how it goes, and I will definitely talk more about change and hypnosis later on in this podcast. And if you want to try hypnosis, you find a few here on the podcast. I have some guided hypnosis audios on the retreat, my membership website, and you can always book a private session with me on healthbym.com/hypnosis. And by the way, I would be so happy if you left a review and rating if you like this podcast. And please send this episode to someone you think would like to hear it. Maybe you know someone who wants to create change in their life and could benefit from these tips. All right, I think that's all for now. I do feel that the matcha helped, actually. I feel more energized now than when I started. So hopefully I haven't sounded too sleepy. Anyway, I hope you'll have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.